The next Lee and Ian podcast is approaching the station. Please step aside.
And welcome to the Lee and Ian Show. I'm Lee Navlin.
And I'm Ian Grotman.
The Lee and Ian Show is sponsored by Grodman Law and Mediation. Remember, when it comes to divorce, family first, your children first. Mediation, it's the way to go. Grodman Law and Mediation.
Thank you, Lee.
You're welcome, Ian. And Ian, if you want to check out my latest, it's LeeNavlinBooks.com.
I've checked it. I love it.
You like LeeNavlinBooks.com?
I love
you like the material on there?
I love
and
your
the
books. They're
Thank
all
you very
great.
much.
They should be movie scripts. I keep saying this.
Ian, I appreciate you saying that. That means the world to me. Please keep
thank
reading
you.
my books because...
I will.
Yeah.
And I will tell others too as well.
Thank you. I think you've read my first one 9 times, though.
I think I read it 41 times.
Yeah, 12 people have read it, and Ian was read, and you were 9.
I was 41
right?
of them. Yeah.
That's right. But again, that's LeeNavlinBooks.com. Ian, I have a confession.
What is it?
When I was a kid, I used
Do
to
tell.
When I used to fib, and I used to tell people, especially my teachers, that my real name was David Lee Navlin.
I never knew this.
Because of David Lee Roth, because I was a big Van Halen fan.
I figured it was because of David
Right,
Lee Roth.
and I thought that the name Lee should be in the middle. I never liked the idea that my name was Lee Navlin, Lee being the first name. I always thought, but anyway, my mother, she spilled the beans, and I got in a lot of trouble. So David Lee Navlin did not work.
This is a brilliant introduction, Lee. I'm very proud of you.
Now, the reason I mention this is our guest today is Anna Lee Williams, who is running to become the next congresswoman from the great state of New Jersey. Anna, thank you for coming.
Welcome, Anna. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. And also, what a fun intro. I was going to say, my middle name is Lee, so there's a fun energy there.
Exactly.
So my first question to you, are you a David Lee Roth fan? Is that why you're going with the name also? Is it?
No, nothing against David Lee Roth. My name is, full name, Anna Lee Williams. It's actually after my background. So I'm half Vietnamese, half Italian.
Mm-hmm.
My great-grandmother on my father's side, Italian side, was Angelina. And so my parents decided to name me Anna. And then my grandmother on my mother's side, Vietnamese side, is Dung Lee. So they made my middle name Lee, added an extra E to it.
Yeah.
And then the last name Williams is not Italian at all, not Vietnamese at all.
I was about to say that. All right. That's a...
That's American. So my dad's side, his father, my paternal grandfather is he's the German, Irish, English. We're not sure where that.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's like you, Ian. A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, my family's a little bit of everything. That's for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the good things.
Yeah.
So Vietnamese and Italian, and the food in your house growing up.
Oh, so
it must
good.
have been amazing.
So good. I'm a garlic girl, I like to say. So big on sauce, big on garlic, big on, just like good food.
Yep.
That's really how I connect with people. Next time we sit down, we'll have to have it over a meal.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have you back next week.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring the food.
All right, good.
Now, Anna, I'm really excited about you running for Congress, and I believe you were the first candidate actually to enter this race.
I was.
Now, you're young. How old are you, if you don't
I'm
mind me asking?
27 years
You're
old.
27. Ian, what were you doing at 27? You weren't running for Congress, that I know.
Running for
Right, yeah.
Congress, no. We won't talk about that.
I've read your background. I feel like I know so much about you because there's so much information about you, which you've been very good on social media and getting the word out, which is so important today. But what made you say, this is what I'm going for, this is what I'm going to do? How did this all get to where you are right now in a great position to become a congresswoman, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, first I want to acknowledge it's kind of a crazy thing to do. Run for Congress as someone who's never run for office before.
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody running for Congress.
They're a little crazy, right?
Yeah, but yes.
You have to have a little crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but so my background is as a community organizer, right? I spent the last 10 years working with nonprofits kind of across the board. So nonprofits like Make the Road New Jersey, like Vietnamese Boat People, which are two amazing, advocacy nonprofits. And then today I still work with in Morris County. They're the Interfaith Food Pantry of Morris County, right? And that's just like who I am as a volunteer and someone who wants to show up and help people. In my day job, I do social impact, right? So I work at a music company. I get to experience like this
studio.
It's really fun stuff.
Yep.
But my day job is managing the volunteering and giving program for a music company. And
nice.
Basically what we do is support independent artists. That's what, Believe does.
Okay.
And then my role within that is to is to work on, bringing nonprofits together. Like, how do we show up? How do we make sure I get to do the fun part of corporate social responsibility, which is how do I spend the company's money to do nice things for people?
You.
Yeah.
But to your question, why did I decide to run for Congress? Been organizing for a long time. After the second time Trump was elected, I sat there and I'm like, oh gosh, things are going to get really bad.
Yep.
And, I think about how I grew up. I think about my parents and, my family's Republican. Right. And it's not a scandal or anything. That's public record.
We all have a few. We all have,
yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
my
dad was a big Republican. And that's why Ian and I, he's like a father figure to me because he said, I'll bring
I'm
you
not
to
that much older than you.
I'll bring you to the other side, Lee, which he did. But
Okay.
I was always a registered
I'd say big
Democrat
brother.
myself. But you know what? I think it was like whatever it is you don't have, you're not your parents, you're yourself. You're
Right.
an independent person.
But and all that to say, that has warranted some big conversations with my family over the years and with my parents about, like, why do you feel this way? Or why would you vote this way? Or like, help me understand these things. And that's how I show up in my work, right? I'm someone who believes that government should work for everyday people. Like, that's the point of government, I think. And I studied that. That's what I studied at Rutgers. I was a political science and anthropology major, and I was an activist. Like, that's how it all started.
Well,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You deserve a fair deal.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's your slogan.
That's the platform.
Yeah,
Yes.
and right at the top of your website, you deserve a fair deal. I mean, so this is basically, you're thinking about other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, where does that come from? Just at your age, because so many young people, not to pick on young people, but it's you're worried about yourself, your career, your friends.
And I'm just going to add to that question. Yeah. So, Anna, we do our research, of course, before you come here
Appreciate
today.
That.
I think you should speak about some of the things that you did accomplish in college because it's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And I imagine it has a real impact on who you are today.
Thank you. Yes. So You Deserve a Fair Deal actually came from the moment that I decided to run for Congress. So it's after election night. I'm sitting there with my partner, Gabe, and I'm thinking, what can I do in this moment? Like, I know things are going to get bad. I read Project 2025. What can I do as an organizer? And then I think about people like my parents and people that I know who voted for Trump. And I'm like, I know that that includes immigrants. That includes people that work for unions and people that are part of, like, the middle class and working class. And I was thinking, they're not getting a fair deal.
Right.
And I started sitting on that idea of, like, a fair deal. Like, what does it mean? What does it mean to get a fair deal from your country and from your government? Right. And then I started thinking about my community and all of us. And, you work hard. You show up for your community, you pay your taxes, you've done everything right, and you deserve a government that's going to show up for you. You deserve representatives that are going to fight for you and pass policies that actually help us.
That's great.
So then I was like, wait a second, this is a policy platform.
Right, yeah.
And, and then I was talking about it with Gabe, and I'm like, wait, what if I ran for Congress? That'd be crazy.
Now, Gabe is actually here with us, by the way. So
he's also the campaign manager.
He is.
Gabe,
he
so
is.
Gabe, just say hello. Gabe's here in the studio.
Hi.
That's Gabe. Gabe is you're a very patient man, okay? Because
Yes.
he's sitting in the corner. We're ignoring you. We forgot you were here, but anyway, thank you for coming. Really do appreciate it.
And we also have Harry here.
And
with
Harry
us.
is here as well. So we have a crowded podcast studio.
Harry,
today.
you want to say hello?
Yep. So Harry.
Hello.
That's Harry, everybody. And but Anna, looking at your website, I mean, basically, the fair deal is healthcare, it's housing, it's education, it's children and families, retirement. You're right. It's about policy, and you're not, and you have it spelled out specifically what you're going to do when elected.
Yes.
And not all your opponents have that. They're more or less just kind of banking on their history of whatever they've done. And you're saying, well, here's what I'm going to do.
Right. I think that this is all about the vision of how we move forward. And that is, I think, what's going to get people out to vote, right? People are tired of politics as it's been for the last, 20 years. So I'm not running on my name recognition, right? I'm not running on, like, the who's who and, all of that of politics. It's more like, what do you deserve from your government?
Yeah.
Right? You deserve a fair deal. And here is a vision for how we move forward. And this is something that I I plan to work very hard to make sure that this is the future of the Democratic Party and where we should be going.
Well, look at some of the Mondami in Manhattan.
Right.
That in New York, that's an example. The people are saying we want policy, we want direction, we want you to discuss affordability, we want you to talk about universal health care, which, by the way, is at the top of your platform. You specifically, you deserve a universal health care system.
Yeah.
You're very clear about that. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just think that's where we need to be.
Absolutely.
Like, without even debating it.
The last few months are such an indication of that's where we need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we need to go. And just think about how much that would help people, right? Like, first of all, any of us, if we have a health emergency, even if you have private health insurance, you still have to pay so much out of pocket.
Yep.
You're on the phone for hours. You have to, you're basically bounced around from AI agent to, someone who's not empowered to help you.
Yep.
All to get your coverage declined.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Right. And each of us, if it hasn't happened to us in this room, we know someone directly who it's happened to.
Yeah.
So
I lost my insurance when I lost my job.
I'm sorry.
And I see that right on the top. You shouldn't have to worry about losing your insurance because you switched jobs or face unemployment.
Right, and that's the American promise, right? That's what you deserve.
Yeah.
Because
Bernie Sanders is exactly right.
Yeah.
It should be a privilege. It should be a right.
Exactly. And we know that there are better examples of it, right? Like places all over the world, right? So you've got places like Canada, you've got most of Europe, and then you've also got countries that, let's say, don't have the same level of wealth, right? Like Brazil. But at the same time, you have Americans flying to Brazil to get their health care covered.
That's right.
So what are we doing here,
I know a friend who got his hip replaced in Mexico.
Yeah, a lot of people go to Mexico for medical treatment.
Yeah, and it was crazy. I go, well, you're kidding me, right? He was dead serious.
I saw a video of a lot of Americans crossing the border to Mexico to get dental care.
Yeah, right.
Like-
And the guy I knew was a businessman, a successful guy. It wasn't like, he was on the balls of his rear end. He was, but it was just, that was the only way you could afford to get that darn hip replaced. They wouldn't do it here in the United States.
Right.
The guy was limping around for years. Now, you talk a lot about housing as well. And I like what you have to say here. I mean, it's encouraging more rent to own housing. It takes too long to build housing. Implement a vacancy tax on commercial buildings. You seem to really know your stuff here.
Yeah, I think it's like we need to have a vision and a willingness to try.
Right.
Right. I think the politicians of today at the national level are telling us all the things we can't do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great, but our generation is kind of screwed.
Yeah,
we agree.
So
we have children who are 27 years old, so we know.
Yep. Yeah.
And we need to talk about our future and how we're going to move forward. And, for the first time in American history, your children are set to be worse off than you.
Right.
So we really need to address that. And that's why I'm proposing these, I think, very, very forward and strong economic policies that I think will get us into how we actually support people.
Yeah, I mean, I love this. Implement a vacancy tax on commercial buildings. If you have empty malls and grocery stores, there's no reason not to convert that to housing. I mean, you're basically saying, let's go. Let's build this housing.
What are we doing, basically?
Yeah, but, it's...
So you would suggest government support to help make that happen?
I think in some ways, absolutely.
Right.
And just pushing forward, right? Like, we have to update our zoning laws.
Yep.
Right, especially in New Jersey, I think.
Yep.
I think the single family home, it's unaffordable,
right?
Yeah. Especially in New Jersey 11, you're looking at $600,000, right? When, I mean, the average income doesn't keep up with that.
Nope, it doesn't.
Right. So I'm proposing things like building up kind of that middle housing.
Good.
Right. So things like townhomes.
Yep.
Right. Or again, rent to own apartment models.
Right.
Or things like community land trusts, where you give a nonprofit the capacity to own the land, so it keeps the cost of the housing on top of it lower.
Yep. Very good.
Now, one thing about your site, which is AnnaLeeWilliams.com, okay,
Yes.
is you can see everything
And we'll
that
say
I'm
that a
talking
few
about.
times during the course of the podcast. AnnaLeeWilliams.com.
Thank you.
Which is spelled out very clearly. Again, not all your opponents spell these things out as clearly as you have. Now, you go from housing to education, which is kind of funny. It's like, you want to buy a house? Well, how's that education payments coming along?
Yes.
Now, you want to see a grown man cry? Ian, we're talking about education and debt. We're talking about paying off student
I'll
loans.
be paying for college for my children until I die. So,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
And I get it,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
I'm still paying my student loans too.
Yep.
yeah, but you're saying no barriers to learning. Trade schools and community colleges should be free.
Well,
Boom.
why not?
Yeah.
Right.
Right? And I get it, right? I know this is a platform that's very aggressive, but
Yeah.
why are we compromising before we even have a conversation?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's my trouble with the Democratic Party as it is today. It's not inspiring people to get out to vote.
Right.
Right? The party of today is saying, vote for us because we're not that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not enough to get people, people really want change right now.
Yeah.
So people listen to that, right? Because as an old guy who is a chair of a local Democratic committee, I say to people all of the time, we are not listening to people who are under 40 years old.
That's
and
right.
Those are the people that we need to listen to now. And that is where we really need to go, because these are the people who are struggling the most. I don't want to take away from you, Anna. But
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the federal government, this is from your website, needs to work with universities to cap tuition costs and cancel predatory student debt. I mean, yes. I mean, you were talking about, and these are the same things. He was the guy who just became the mayor of New York City, which I sneered
right.
at when he was first ran. He's got no
did.
chance. I
You
said, this is
did.
ridiculous. He's running against Cuomo. Ha ha, good luck.
He's fantastic.
But it was just policy. When Cuomo's like, vote for me, I'm a Cuomo. And
Right.
that was, and I think you're kind of following that same. If you want these policies in place, vote for this 27-year-old. This is what I'm going to be doing in Washington.
Yeah.
Fighting for these things all the time. Child care and families, retirement, as I mentioned, worker protections, transportation. I mean, this is what she's talking about.
Right.
Yeah, Ian, this is now, let's talk about transportation now. Our neck of the woods here, you're in
Well, you're in Morristown.
You're in Morristown.
Same.
So everyone relies on the trains.
Yes, I have the privilege of commuting to New York about 2 to 3 times a week.
So you speak from experience.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
God
I think
bless.
that's why my transportation policy is probably aggressive, because I feel at times scorned
Uh-huh.
by NJ Transit.
Yeah.
But
Half the population of Maplewood and South Orange feels scorned by New
Indeed,
Jersey
right?
Transit. Yep.
But this just happened to me this summer. But I'm literally I'm on the train. The train starts moving backwards because they can't make it to the next stop.
Yep.
I get dropped off in Summit, and then everybody squishes on to the next train.
Yep.
And then you have people, and this is like an hour and a half later.
Yep.
By the way, you have people begging to be let on the train because they need to get to work, and it's just nobody knows where to go. Nobody
No.
knows when the next train is coming, and things like that should be unacceptable.
Right.
Like we have these modern technology systems. You should be sending out, at least alerts saying, "Hey, we have to do maintenance today.
Right.
Here are some other alternative routes."
Yep.
Right? Or I'm sorry that you couldn't even get to work today because your train went backwards. We're going to refund your ticket.
Yeah.
Right? The bare minimum.
Right.
And then at the same time, we need to modernize NJ Transit.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about foreign policy too. I mean, so you've really done your homework here. Stop sending our tax dollars overseas to fund suffering or oppression. I mean, you know, it's I mean, Trump may agree with you with some of that.
I
you
think
know?
so.
but
Maybe not for the same reasons.
No,
but yes.
probably not for the
Right.
same reasons.
Yes.
But
right. But yeah, your thoughts on on foreign policy. You talk about and maybe by the way, you bring corruption right up to the top of the list. And then New Jersey politics. Sometimes that's a word we avoid, right? Ian,
No, I talk about New Jersey politics all the time. I'm in the middle of it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you
okay.
are. That's a lot to hold.
By the way, I have to.
Not in the middle of corruption, but but it's
and I
yeah,
apologize for the Essex County Democratic Committee convention.
That's very kind of you.
It was I have only read snippets of that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It
Were
was-
you were on the call?
I was on that call.
Oof.
Yeah. I heard there was some technical gaffes. Might that be the right way to describe
Technical
it?
gaffes.
That's-
That's kind.
That is kind. Let's move on.
yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no more corruption. And I
Yeah.
think and again, you're entering this field, so that it's like me. I've never been a politician, so I say, how can this keep going on? I'm sure you're thinking the same thing, and
Yes.
you plan to be part of the future that stops it.
Well, absolutely, and that's why even to my core, the way we're running this campaign is we're not going to take any corporate PAC donations,
Yep.
right? It's entirely
That's great.
community funded. I'm starting I don't have any skeletons, right? I don't have any ulterior motives, nothing like that. I'm not doing this because I feel entitled or I want a promotion, right? I genuinely believe you deserve a fair deal, and I want government to work for everyday normal people. And that comes even down to the way we're funded,
Yeah. Now, Mikey Sherrill, Congresswoman, you would be replacing her as a Congresswoman. We've had quite a few men in here, Ian.
A lot more men than women.
Yeah, so any thoughts on why there are so few women kind of running for this seat right now? Was that a surprise to you? First of all, you surprised there was so many people running because you got involved there. Did you think maybe 3, 4, 5, and when the 12, 13?
I never expected 13 candidates total.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of people.
It is.
It's a lot of people, but I think that's a good thing. There's a very talented bunch of folks.
Everybody is very talented. It really is a great group.
Yes, and I'm a firm believer of competitive primaries. Right, this is the time to get your ideas out and push.
Yeah.
Right, so I very much I hope to win. Right, I'm pushing to win, but I also think that whoever's in that seat, I plan to ideally partner with them and then also hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah.
Right? I want them to be pushing forward this fair deal because I genuinely believe it's the message for the future.
Yep.
Yep. Now, have you had any pushback or situations where someone tried to make you feel uncomfortable because A, you're a woman, and B, you're a younger woman? Have you noticed that since on the campaign trail?
Yeah, actually, that was the basis for why I formed my speech for the Morris County Convention the way I did. At first, I didn't want to focus on how young I am. But as I've been going to events, and I'm speaking and I'm improving, like this whole thing is a learning process.
Absolutely.
But people come up to me and they're like, "You're so inspiring. Make sure you stay involved. But you're so young. Like, why don't you start doing something else first?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Would you just vote for me? Please."
Right.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But I decided I don't respond with "Would you just vote for me?"
Right.
But sure, it's a case of hey, you know what? Why not give me this opportunity?
Right.
What Mikey Sherrill. People didn't know who she was when she ran for Congress. She kind of, she'd been in the Army, in the military, Navy. She
had an impressive resume.
She did.
Absolutely, she does. Anna has an impressive resume also.
Right, but she got pushback too. She got pushback too. It was like, what do you know about,
But I want to share with you guys. So as a result of that, I decided, Gabe and I, we rewrote my speech kind of at the last hour. And I started it off by saying, all right, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm young. I know. Yeah. But let's talk about what this campaign has been able to do as a result of that. I was the first to announce. I was the first to file my petitions. And I doubled the amount of petition signatures. So at the beginning of this year, the New Jersey State Legislature changed it from 250 to 500 signatures. We submitted over 1,000 signatures. First to hand it in, right? We surprised everyone. And ourselves.
You were in Trenton at 9:01?
Yeah, basically. We beat Brendan Gill's team by a couple hours.
That's awesome. That's great.
But, I'm really showing up. And what we're doing is we're talking to people in the community. I'm everywhere, pretty much. And, I have a very strong message and vision for the future.
That's great. Lee, there's a question you ask every candidate who's been here that I would like to hear you ask Anna, because I think I know what the answer is going to be.
Yes. Okay. So
when you get to Congress,
who's a better host, Lee or Ian?
No.
What? No, you're both wonderful.
The question is, yes, when you get to Congress, when you win, and you're on that congressional floor, and you're like, I'm amongst my colleagues. Who is the first person you want to walk up to, shake their hand, and say, "Hey, I'm Anna Lee Williams, and I'm going to be working with you"? Is there a politician that comes to mind? The first person? Can't wait to meet.
Yeah, it would be AOC for me.
That's what I was going to guess. Yep.
It would be because, and I want to tell you guys, so I was a freshman in college in 2016. So I remember in 2018 when AOC won.
Yeah.
And what that meant, and I was like, oh my God, she's 27 years old.
Yeah.
Right. And if you guys remember, there was a video of her going viral because she was shocked.
Right.
Like she didn't expect to see that she would win.
Right.
And I appreciate the way she runs her campaigns and she's fighting for her constituents and showing up, and she's clean financially, right?
Yeah.
I think all of that stuff is incredibly important.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
That's great. That's great. I had a feeling because you remind me of her. So
thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I saw AOC before she got elected, she was on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he was filming in Brooklyn, and I got tickets. I know people, Ian.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know anybody.
and the first time I didn't know who she was. The first time I and I go, oh, AOC, and she was, and I just remember it was listening to her talk about things that no one else in Washington was talking about, and I was like, well, she's not going to win, because she's, being a little too honest, about what she wants to accomplish. So how wrong was I?
That's what people want.
And it's right, exactly right. And I think, they talk about smashing the glass ceiling a little bit. She kind of did to a degree for the next generation.
Yeah.
And so AOC is an inspiration. And anyone else in Washington, Bernie, anyone, you say, boy, when that guy's talking, when she's talking, I'm listening.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that I admire. I appreciate someone like Bernie Sanders too, right? He's been, if you look at his political career, he's been very consistent.
He's been incredibly consistent from
he's,
day one.
Back from when he was mayor all the way to where he is now, it's almost like you could take a clip of him from 30 years ago and you're like, oh, that's the same speech.
Stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there are pictures of him, in handcuffs on the ground in the 60s with African American women, being arrested.
Yeah.
This guy is, from the beginning of time. And, I still think he was supposed to be president, not Joe Biden. I really think that was a problem, but that's
we can't fix that.
Plus
now.
one on that.
That's a conversation for another time.
Exactly.
But you talk about yourself. You say, I'm a normal person. I'm not a politician.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a politician, but I'm not a normal person. So that's where you and I are a little bit different. But again, talk about what I love to do. When you sat down with your parents, when you sat down with Harry, when you sat down with the crew, Gabe. Yes, apologies. Gabe, what was the pushback you got? You talked a little bit about it briefly at the top, but was there pushback? Or was it no, go for it? I mean, how long did you have it in your head before you actually said it to somebody else?
I'm a very transparent person. So literally the night of the election, I was like, I processed it. The night of the election, I processed it. I was like, okay, I felt that this might happen, right? And then the next day, Gabe comes home from the city, and we're talking, and I'm talking about the idea of like what a fair deal is, and then he's the one who posed it to me. Yep. He's like, what if you run for office?
Good for you, Gabe.
And I was like, wait, that's crazy, And then we go to sleep, and then I'm like still thinking about it. And I'm like, well, what if I did run for office?
Are you Googling at that point, like what you need to do as far as...
Yeah, I start thinking about it, and then I don't sleep the whole night because I'm excited about what we could do. Right. And then, and then it was just starting to tell people and starting to tell my parents. My parents thought I was insane. It was actually really funny. When I told my parents, I'm on the phone with them, and I'm like, guys, I'm thinking about running for Congress. And then they were really quiet. And then my dad was like, we always knew you were going to do something like this. And it was just, that was kind of it. Like
that's always your dad's answer.
Yeah. But they've gotten, I think I've like won them over and gotten them really excited about this. They've always believed in me in every way.
So you've been arguing politics with them since you're a little kid,
exactly.
And they're like, well, here we go.
Are your parents out campaiging with you, or have you brought them to any events?
They have. They came to my kickoff event.
Good move.
They came to my kickoff event, and I think that they were shocked.
Harry, get them to more events.
Yeah.
Harry's been great. But they came to my kickoff event, and I think they were shocked because my message is different, right? It's a vision about moving forward. It's not about, it's not very divisive, I'd say. And I think that, again, I mentioned my family's more conservative, right? So I think what my dad thought going into that is, oh gosh, people are going to be like, almost like fighting against him or making him feel bad for how he thinks or who he is or XYZ. And I'm here talking about this fair deal.
Right.
And people came up to me after, parents, grandparents, and not my grandparents, but like people that came to the event, and they're like crying.
That's great.
And I had no idea that I had that in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was 6 months ago, if not before. So, it's been really a lovely experience.
Yeah. To your parents, this must be remarkable. And your mom left Vietnam at the age of 17.
Yeah.
She arrives in the United States in the middle of winter, Ian, and she actually was wearing flip-flops and shorts, right?
Yeah.
So she's showing up here, and how could she, in her wildest dreams, imagine that this would be?
Would be running for Congress.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the American story right there.
No, it's beautiful, right? My parents met. This is a sweet story. So my mom, my great aunt sponsored the family to come from Vietnam, and she says to my grandmother, her sister, "I want you to come to my restaurant. I want you to cook in my restaurant," because my grandmother was a cook in Vietnam. So the whole family comes over, and my mom, 17, she has to restart high school, has to do the whole experience again, and she's working in the restaurant. And then my dad comes into the restaurant. He's a customer. He meets my mom, and it's her birthday.
Yeah.
And my mom is gorgeous. So he's like, he asks her out on a date, basically. He's like, what are you doing tonight? Or, what are you doing this weekend?
He's like, I don't know who I've just met, but I want to spend the rest of my life with her.
Yeah. And my mom's like, well, actually, it's my birthday.
Wow.
And my mom at that point, I think she's new to the country, still kind of, she hadn't made a lot of friends yet.
Yeah.
And then they went on their first date, and then
on her birthday, or she met on a
yeah.
Wow, that's
great. It's a nice story.
Yeah. No, you have how many siblings? You have.
I have a younger brother.
Okay, and he's down with this. He's not.
Yeah, he's great.
He's not saying what my sister's doing now, anything like that.
No, my brother's awesome. He's a sophomore.
What's his name?
Matthew. Matthew's a sophomore at Rutgers.
Yeah, in Newark also?
He's in New Brunswick.
I love that you went to Rutgers, Newark.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Yep.
I'm very proud that I went to Rutgers, Newark.
And the things you did there, which I think we have to get to in this podcast, because some older people are going to want to hear about your experience.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
But yeah, so younger brother, Matthew, we're 8 years apart. And I'm very proud of him. He's studying theater and HR. So his dreams and a backup, basically.
Right. Smart thinking. Yeah. Plan
Is he
B.
at Mason Gross?
He's taking classes at Mason Gross too.
That's great.
Now, my research tells me that you did some wonderful things at Rutgers when you were a student there.
Here we go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm. That's how I started really like my organizing journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to Rutgers, and I wanted to join the Model United Nations Club, but there wasn't one that existed. So I'm like, all right, let's start it, basically. And what it became, it was called the Association of International Relations, AIR. And we ended up hosting, over 100 different events that were focused on human rights, the United Nations kind of sustainable development goals. We were training students on public speaking. And it became both a kind of like human rights activism org, but also like professional development for students studying humanities. Because we can't all be lawyers, basically.
Right.
So, that was incredible.
And you don't want to be.
No, exactly. That was incredible. And I'll just share one event that I'm really proud of that we did. And again, I was in my early 20s. Like, you just think about the capacity that people have. We wanted to host an event about abolishing nuclear weapons. So we partnered with ICANN, which is I think it's like the International Coalition for Abolishing Nuclear Weapons. They're associated with the United Nations, and we hosted. They're called Hibakusha, which means they're survivors from nuclear war.
Wow.
So we hosted survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, folks in their 90s, to come to Rutgers, Newark, to speak about their experience and like what they remember and what they witnessed.
Wow.
And then we presented them with over 1,000 signatures that folks signed about abolishing nuclear weapons. We had the mayor of Newark come, Ras Baraka, to speak. We had we had one of those like official legislative pieces signed and recognized. And that was my organization, right? Like that was me and other organizers coming together to say like, let's do this thing. And we hosted diplomats and ambassadors, and it's just like incredible stuff. Fast forward a little bit, I was a student organizer, and I was a little frustrated with the bureaucracy of the Rutgers administration and the student government at the time. So I decided to unionize.
Good.
Yes, and I created this group called the Student Organizations Union of Leaders, SOUL, with the idea that student orgs are the heart and soul of the campus.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically came together, and we partnered with the student government and the administration, and we said, okay, like here are the things that we believe would make life more transparent and the budget issues more transparent, and how we want to move forward. So I did all that in college, and that was some really fun organizing stuff.
Great.
That's
great.
you're heavily involved at a young age in college,
Yeah.
and you're not realizing it, but the government, the leadership, all that, that's all kind of playing in your head, and
Yeah.
it's leading you to a future.
And that activism work has continued after college with
Yes.
some of the organizations that you've worked with on immigration issues.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So so that's how it started, and then I continued to work with Make the Road New Jersey, Vietnamese boat people.
Great organization.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, have you had a chance to meet Mikey Sherrill or chat with her? I know she's been quite busy. She's familiar with who you are now because I know she's watching this election. I'm sure.
Yeah. So I've met her at a few events,
Good.
especially during when she was campaigning for governor.
yeah.
So we knocked doors, we canvassed.
Very good.
It was important to me that she became the next governor.
Right.
Yeah.
Just for New Jersey and the future, even for what I'm fighting for,
Yep.
right? I think that's going to be
Absolutely.
far more
It's
possible.
all aligned. Yeah.
Jack was not going to.
Yeah, I
do
don't
the
think
type
he
of
cares
things.
about the fair deal.
no, I don't think so.
I think he'd be looking at some of your policies right now and being like, I don't even understand what she's talking about.
Right.
Yeah, but and thank goodness he doesn't have to worry about it.
That's right.
Exactly.
So, what does life look like for you the next few months moving forward?
Life looks really busy.
Yeah.
We
Are you still working in the city? Are you still so you still got to make money?
Yes, unfortunately, I still have to maintain my job.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, we're trying to be really flexible because we know that like regular people have to work too.
Right.
Right. So all of our events are in the evening. It's meant to be supportive of working people and families and anyone who can make it. But we're trying to make politics fun. I know it's not very fun.
That is.
So we're doing things. Just this weekend, we have an event in Morristown. We're going to be having folks come together to make gingerbread houses.
Nice.
And we're going to talk about housing policy.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
I love it.
We'll be doing events like that. Really, actually, our goal has been to have an event pretty much every night of the week
Yeah.
so that we're getting out the word as much as we can. And this is the second week in a row where we have 9 out of 7 events.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a heck of a thing running for office.
It is. It's very
It is.
difficult. People have no idea how difficult it is. So
I mean, just even getting the signatures. I mean,
Right.
what do you need? Like 1,000 signatures?
You need-
well, and the time constraints with this election in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super fast. The signatures, you needed 500,
Okay.
and it has to be 500 registered Democrats and independents
In your district.
in your district.
Yeah.
So we did it in 4 days,
Wow.
and I'm so proud of this.
You've got
Yeah.
a good team.
Yes, an amazing team, and all like volunteers.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
all
Yeah.
people who are just showing up because they want a fair deal and they believe that this is the path forward.
Yeah.
Now, did Gabe? How were you there? Were you one of the top signature getters?
Was there a competition?
Third.
Gabe was
Oh,
third. Gabe was third.
Which, as a partner, is a little disappointing. I thought I would do.
No, he did super well.
But there were other roles you were filling as well. So
That's true.
there we go. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, the competitive spirit.
Yes.
But yeah, I remember because I ran for office locally many years ago. Like, I needed
Awesome.
like 100 signatures, and I remember being like, "Oh, that was no problem." Until I was like, I was doing it for like an hour and I had like 9.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh my god, this is terrible."
You've got to talk to people as you're doing it. It's
Yeah.
not just like handing a paper and saying, please sign.
Can I tell you, there's nothing more humbling. Like we were going to ShopRite parking lots. We were being really creative about the
Yeah.
places that we can get signatures, but people don't have time anymore.
They don't.
So I'm like, hi, will you? I'm running for Congress. Will you sign my petition? And some people are really
Yeah,
not.
they're giving you a hard time about it.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That was me. I was like, people were saying no. Yeah, I don't have time. What do you mean no? They would come up with some excuse. And but it turned out. Well, Ian is the head of the Maplewood Democratic Committee. I was running against the Maplewood Democratic Committee many years ago. I was running as a Democrat, but I was
We
running.
let you come and speak to us.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and then you picked,
And I helped you out.
You picked the other guy, but Ian actually told me, he's like, "Oh, you got to do is get 100 signatures." He told me like because he's very helpful if you ask for advice. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do. But I remember you telling me like it was the easiest thing in the world. It was like I was like, "Oh, okay, 100." Oh my God! But
It was actually 50.
yeah, was it only 50? You told me 100.
No, but you're supposed to double
I
it.
probably said get 100.
Right.
Just to be safe,
Just
in
to be
case
safe.
anybody contests
By
it.
the way,
Right.
that's exactly what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what
yeah.
you said. Yeah.
But so this timeline was so fast that nobody contested
It was
the
incredible.
signatures.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we made a goal. We're like, all right, let's get 1,000 because Because I don't have enough money to hire a lawyer, for someone to contest my signatures.
1,039 signatures you got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lee, you're good.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
did
Thank
your
you.
research.
I have. I'm just very excited about this candidate. Ian.
It's
I'm
very
just,
Thank
exciting.
you.
I love, my son's 26, Max, his son's 27, right? They're buddies, and they're
my
very
other son is
politically
20,
charged
so.
young people.
Awesome.
I think you may be getting a call tomorrow about 2 volunteers.
Yeah, I was just
going to
say we would love to have them join our team.
You think Eli would volunteer? Because Max isn't going to volunteer.
Yeah, that's right. I think my son, once he by the way, he edits this podcast, so so
That's awesome.
he will have listened to the podcast. Yeah, so and I
That's
think
good. That's
Well,
a good
thank
point.
you. I
really-
appreciate that.
Yeah.
yeah, I think he might. I mean, he might want to talk to your parents, perhaps, because they're on the right a little bit. He gets a little angry about the people on the which and his grandparents are. So that's why I can't. It's a heck of a thing when he's got to call his grandmother to thank for the birthday gift. You know what I mean? I'm like, no politics. You're not this, yeah, but this is fantastic. So listen, you want people to vote for you.
What's that website again?
Yeah.
AnnaLeeWilliams.com, and
go.
you deserve a fair deal from your government.
God, that's another website? You deserve
No, it's just
Okay, but that's
it's
your slogan.
The slogan.
Got
That's
it.
just remember you deserve a fair deal.
Yep.
Yep. Now, a couple minutes left. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to South Plainfield High School.
South Plainfield High School. Okay, and has word gotten out that the former classmates running for Congress?
Yes, there was a I was in the paper.
Okay,
which
the local
is
paper down here?
That's
the
great.
local paper. It was
Are
the
your parents still in Plainfield? South Plainfield?
Yes,
Okay, so
yeah,
there's okay, right. So that made that local girl running for the United States Congress.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody? See, when I look back at high school, I'm like, man, there was a few people that I knew that whenever I succeed, I'm like, I wonder what they're thinking. I hope they know about this. With anybody from your high school days, you're like, haha, look at that. You look at
not at all. You're
a little more mature than I am.
My group
lot
of my group of girlfriends from high school were all still close, and they're so funny. They're like, Anna, you should go to our 10-year reunion so you can go and campaign. And I'm like, guys, no one there is in my district. Like, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
But they've been teasing me and telling me to do that.
Yeah.
Fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think talking about campaigning, that's the hardest part of campaigning is
It's
fundraising.
very difficult. Yep.
I think the whole thing is hard.
True.
It's a heck of an endeavor. I think anybody that runs for office should be applauded, and it could just because you want to go down there to do the right thing. But in your case, you were absolutely going down there with an agenda to get things done.
Yes.
And
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure everybody in Washington.
I mean, it's just so much talk among candidates. I'm not saying necessarily in this election, but Democratic candidates, anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, and I think people want to hear more than that. So it's great that you're doing that.
Yeah, 100% right. Yeah, there's a few candidates that are out there, and right at the top of their page, it's like "Stop Trump." I'm going to say, and that's like, we would hope so. You're a Democrat, but you seem like, he's got to go, but right now, let's get health insurance. Let's get transportation, affordability.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Like, I want to focus on the very real economic pain that we're all feeling, because if we don't touch that, then we will elect another Trump in a few years.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And another nice thing about the way that you're handling your campaign, Anna, is that you are coming up with specific things that you want to do instead of just talking about affordability, right? Because that's another word that is thrown around a lot. But you're coming up with proposals to make things more affordable, and that's great. Good for you.
Thank you.
And again, that's on AnnaLeeWilliams.com. So you could, it's all spelled out right at the top of the website. No fine print necessary. It's right at the top, big bold letters. Who designed your website, by the way? It's a really great website. Very clear and
it's all we have a fully volunteer team.
Yep.
So my best friend John from high school,
That's great.
he designed it, and then Gabe also is he does
a
lot of the design work as well. So
And what about Harry? Harry, what do you do exactly? You're a good-looking guy. Quiet
tell
guy.
us what you do, Harry.
I do more of like planning the event stuff. We have a lot of fun events that are going to be coming out, particularly in January, where at least I feel like my role is I'm younger than Anna, believe it or not. I'm 22, and I really want to bring to this campaign like an avenue for even younger people to
That's
really
great.
get involved in politics.
Very good.
You know, through like fun events. You
Yeah.
know, like the gingerbread housing
Yeah.
thing is like just it comes off as a little gimmicky, but I feel like it's something fun that will really help people engage. And
People will
you know,
remember.
Anna has all of the policy to back it
Yep.
up. So
Yeah, very good.
Look, you know, ultimately, yeah. At the end of the day, people, you know, you could create events that are enjoyable. People have a good time at them, and then you could pitch policy while you're there. And look, at the end of the day, you know, Ian, we've talked about this before. If they meet you, they shake their hand, they learn a little bit about you. The chances are they're going to vote for you. You know,
Yes.
so
And
sometimes
if they come home with a gingerbread house,
and they come up with a
even
gingerbread.
better.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely right. You know, they're going to vote for you twice, as a matter of fact. Yeah, they're going to. Yeah. So, Ian, I guess that's. We have anything else?
I think just one more time. Tell us your website, Anna.
You guys are the best, by the way.
Yes.
It's AnnaLeeWilliams.com.
Great.
All right. I think she's
A great place to learn about a great young candidate running for this spot.
Yes, absolutely.
you.
And
Yeah.
anything you want to say, Gabe, before we say goodnight? You know, vote for Anna Lee Williams.
I mean, I know who has my vote, and it's not because she has to have my vote. Like, this is a choice. Like, I would absolutely vote for Anna regardless.
That's
so.
great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
It's a good endorsement.
That's a great
Yeah,
endorsement.
right.
You
Endorsed
know,
by normal people.
That's
yeah.
right.
when your friends and family love you, you know,
It's a good sign,
you're
right?
Off to
Yeah,
you're off to a
absolutely.
good start. So, all right. So I guess we'll call it a
All
night.
right,
Ian.
that sounds good.
All right. So the Lee and
Anna,
Ian
thank
show.
you.
Anna, thank you very
so
much.
much.
Harry and Gabe, thank you.
All right.
thank you.
Anna Lee Williams for Congress. Lee and Ian. We'll do it again soon.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.